This is Rockslapping Champions. Player 1, playing Artanis, we have Reggie Black. And player 2, playing Vorazun, we have Star Fox. So let's have a look at the masteries while the players are getting everything set up. Very standard set of selections here for Artanis, but Vorazun has some interesting choices which I want to go over. We can see here that Vorazun has picked the Dark Pylon range mastery over the Black Hole duration. Usually the Black Hole duration is a better mastery choice than the Dark Pylon range, and the reason is because the Black Hole duration increases the duration of the disabling effect of Black Hole, which means you can disable attack waves or clumps of enemies for a longer amount of time. The Dark Pylon range is generally only useful if you are using your Dark Pylons aggressively, so that is if you are pushing in with Void Rays or Stalkers, or for whatever reason Centurions, you can drop a Dark Pylon behind your army and take advantage of the increased range of the Dark Pylon. So generally speaking, you will want to have your Black Hole duration as a mastery here. We can see over here that Reggie B has started to clear his expansion with a Zealot and a Probe. I'm assuming he's going to warp in one more Zealot here to help these two guys out. And Reggie Black is assuming that Star Fox is going to be going for a Void Ray build because Star Fox mentioned that it takes him time to build up his army. But we'll see what Star Fox has to say about that. And there we go, we have another Zealot warped in over here to start clearing. This is the optimal number of Zealots. Star Fox says that he's going to only using ground troops, so that's very good. The other thing I want to talk about in terms of masteries is the Spear of Adun energy. He has no points allocated in the Spear of Adun energy. It is recommended that you put 8 points into the Spear of Adun energy over here, and this will allow you to drop down an initial Dark Pylon, which means that you don't have to invest your money into a pylon to prevent your supply block. And additionally, it'll give you enough energy to drop down your Shadow Guard as soon as it's off cooldown, and you can use your Shadow Guard to clear your expansion, which Star Fox has not done. Star Fox has put down a total of 6 gateways, which is very interesting here. He already has one, so he has a total of 7 gateways right now that'll be made in just a little bit. Again, recommended that you do not build that many gateways in the early game unless you're dealing with some hyper early game aggression. 7 gateways though is nevertheless too much, and you probably want 1, maybe 2 gateways. Maybe 3 if you really want to play hyper aggressively. But the goal in the early game is to take your expansion, which Star Fox has not done yet, and climb up that tech tree. The first attack wave is over here and has spawned, and the first Void Thrasher has also spawned. So let's have a look and see what the first attack wave is. We have Vikings. So Vikings means that we're dealing with an air Terran composition, and obviously an air-centric here, which is going to give Dark Templars a little bit of a problem. We have a Time Stop and a Black Hole on these Vikings, and a Shadow Guard to clear up these Vikings. This Shadow Guard should be sent towards the expansion, but I believe that Star Fox is going to send them towards the Void Thrasher to clear that area out. So, again, the Shadow Guard should be used to clear these rocks, and then you can actually recall your Shadow Guard through a Dark Pylon that would have been placed over here, and then send your Shadow Guard down to clear the first Void Thrasher. There is more than enough time on the timers to get that done. I believe the Shadow Guard is just going to chill over here now. Reggie Black starts to move his army towards the enemy camp over here, and he drops down the Solar Bombardment, but he keeps sending his army forward, and they get shredded by the siege tanks. I don't think anything is going to survive over here, and yes, nothing does. But Reggie Black has taken his expansion and has maintained very, very good probe production here, so he's going to have the saturated in no time. In the meanwhile, Vorazun has not taken the expansion yet, and we have a lot of gateways on the way. We have another 4 gateways over here, 5 gateways, 6 gateways. I think he's done. Yeah. Okay. Six more gateways on the way, and an extra pylon over here, which is very interesting. Extremely high production, and not really effective right now. He's already chrono boosted this thing. I'm assuming he has his warp gate research, and at some point he's just going to convert all these things to warp gates. He sent a probe over here now. It seems that he's interested in taking his expansion, and we'll see what he has to do. He drops down a dark pylon, and he's converted all of these things to warp gates right now. So Reggie Black decides to help his ally clear his expansion. Warps in 3 Dragoons over here to start working away on the rocks. Star Fox thanks his ally for the cooperation, as this is indeed a co-op mode. But Star Fox should have cleared this with his early Dark Templar call down. Star Fox has started to get the Shadow Fury upgrade, a really great upgrade for Dark Templars. It literally allows Dark Templars to just delete things on the map. They kill things so quickly with that upgrade. So Shadow Fury is on the way, which is really good. A few more pylons and one more gateway being produced by Star Fox here. The next attack wave has spawned. This attack wave is not that much larger. Oh, he's put down another one as well. He's put down a total of 4 more gateways. Okay. But yes, we have an attack wave here. This attack wave is not significantly larger than the first attack wave. There might be like a Banshee, maybe 2 Banshees in this attack wave, but it's nothing too serious. We have enough Dragoons here, and Artanis' Dragoons are great at dealing with air compositions. In fact, they're great at almost everything, so they're kind of really broken over here. Yeah, so we have a couple of Banshees over here. Just a huge warping of Dragoons, and they just have no problems dealing with this attack wave.
Research complete.
Now, Artanis is starting to work his way over to the enemy camp at some point, but he's decided to wait a little bit now. Ah, he's confused about Star Fox's strategy. How would you have enough to run all of those gates? Yeah, so how many gateways do we have right now? We have a total of 19 gateways over here. Yeah, that is way too much production for Star Fox. This map is also kind of short. It ends very quickly. Shield overcharge goes down, time stop goes down, Reggie Black starts pushing through and starts focus firing down the hybrid, siege tank, the Raven, the Thor, the Banshee. He's taking out all the high priority targets over here, which is really good. There we go, the Banshees all go down. This space has basically been destroyed with one time stop, which is why I have always said that time stop is one of the most powerful abilities in the game if used correctly. Dark Templars warped in over here, and they are going to clean up the Void Thrasher. They decide to eat a little bit of the Void Thrasher damage, but next attack wave comes in over here, and the Dark Templars, as you can see, the Shadow Fury doing its job, and allows them to completely obliterate that attack wave. We have a few more masses of Dark Templars on the way, and let's have a look at the units here. We have 30 Dragoons from Artanis, and we have 14 Dark Templars from Vorazun. Vorazun not really flowing any resources. Reggie Black same, not really flowing that many resources. They're both playing really efficiently here. Reggie Black decides to start pushing into this next enemy camp here, and there are a couple of siege tanks parked here, so they can actually start dealing a lot of damage unless they're cleared relatively quickly. The other siege tank is over here. It's parked over here. It's just in the fog of war. You can't really see it. But Reggie Black will start to clear this. Another Dark Pylon goes down, and Star Fox starts to warp in a few more Dark Templars. There's a Siege Tank. Siege Tank goes down, and that enemy camp has been cleared. Reggie Black flowing a few resources over here, but he does another round of Dragoon Warpins, and he is back on track. We can see the total damage absorbed by Shield Overcharge, 800 damage. There's an observer over here, and I'm assuming he's getting vision for a solar bombardment. There it is, there's a solar bombardment, and he decides to push in. I normally prefer to wait until the solar bombardment is done, so everything else is cleared. Kind of minimizes the amount of damage you take on your units, but Artanis' Guardian Shell is just really good over here. Reggie Black eating a few storms from the Hybrid Dominator, but the Hybrid Dominator goes down, Battlecruiser goes down, and all that is left now are Thrashers and one Invisible Banshee. Reggie Black pulls his army back to try and prevent the damage from the Void Thrashers, and Star Fox sends in his Dark Templars, and one of them has been irradiated, but the immunity from the Shadow Fury has kind of saved him a little bit, along with Artanis' Guardian Shell. Reggie Black is warping in another bunch of Dragoons over here, and I'm assuming he's going to be using it to try and take out the bonus objective, which is parked in this low ground area here. In the meanwhile, Production-wise, Star Fox is just producing probes. He's now taken his expansion and has only just started to saturate, so I'm assuming he's taken his expansion at around the 11 or 12 minute mark. So he's a little bit slow on that. Unit-wise, we have 47 Dragoons and 25 Dark Templars over here, and there is the Archangel, and the Archangel goes down completely, very quickly. And now Reggie Black just starts to clear what's left of the expansion here. And there is a time stop. The legendary time stop here. Time stops the 1 missile turret and the 1 science vessel. Reggie Black is impressed. He says, wow, nice use. And there is the next attack wave on the way. So we have an Observer and a few Dragoons warped in on this Dark Pylon here. And there is no detection on the enemy side, so they can't really take care of that. Star Fox asks, does it stop it from leaving? No, the thing was way long dead before the time stop was used. We have a Shadow Guard warping over here, takes out some of the landed Vikings, and some of the Dragoons eat some damage from the Liberators, but Ardanis' Guardian Shell being a complete MVP over here, saving the damaged Dragoons and making sure that Artanis doesn't lose too much of his army. Guardian Shell is a really great passive. It just prevents it prevents you from losing units, and the extra heal as well is kind of useful. Star Fox flowing around 2,000 minerals, and Reggie Black flowing around 800 minerals. He has an Observer over here, and I'm assuming again he's waiting for his Solar Bombardment. Solar Bombardment seems ready, and he's flowing at 200 Spirit of Dune energy right now. So he's just doing his final warpins, I believe, and he will be ready to push. Reduction-wise, we have a shield upgrade going in for Artanis. Shield upgrades are generally not recommended for general purposes because you don't really get that much benefit out of the shield upgrades. Attack upgrades are always better prioritizing, but you know, if you are flowing minerals, then it's not too bad. Another attack wave spawns over here and takes out that Dark Pylon. And we have another Banshee over here. Banshee gets, there is an Observer in the army, and he has vision, so that's all good. Seeker Missile targets a Dragoon, and hits that Dragoon, but it has a Guardian Shell, so it's not really much. But this other one gets hit, and it is in the middle of the army, so there's a lot of damage taken on the Dragoons, but all is good, and they seem to be ready. Down goes a Solar Bombardment, down goes a Warp Field, a few more Dragoons get warped in, and we have a shield overcharge being cast. If you ever want to use a shield overcharge, very important to warp in your units before you use your shield overcharge, so you can take advantage of that on your newly warped units. We have a Battlecruiser going full ham on the Observers and on the Dragoons. Hybrid Dominator over here starts to clear. Dark Templars also making their way towards the Void Thrasher. And Time Stop is now just off cooldown and gets used. Unfortunately, not that effective because the entire base is cleared. And that is essentially the end of the game. So at the end of the day, we have 19 gateways built over here with a total of 3 Dark Pylons. And units owned relatively decent. We have 62 Dragoons and 51 Dark Templars. And that seems to work pretty well. But that is GG.